After various controversies involving the future of the game, including the removal of player-to-player trading, set to happen next month, more than ever Rocket League's place as a major figure in the multiplayer space has been put into question. The reality facing any multiplayer game is that they will all eventually shut down at some point, either naturally as the player base fades over time, or by being forcefully closed through outside variables. The real question of a game's survival is more a question of how long, rather than if. But if you enjoy these games, you'd rather them not die prematurely. So today, I wanted to analyse Rocket League's present and future position, and the likelihood that the game will survive in the long term. Now obviously, I'm not exactly disconnected from the game, but I will try to stay as impartial as I can. I also can't predict the future, so any conclusions drawn will be from things that have been planned or have already happened. I would love to know what you guys think, so be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion. I'll try my best to answer as many comments as I can. I'm going to be focusing mostly on the time after the Epic Games acquisition of Psyonix, the developers of Rocket League. I think it's fair to say that this move had a significant impact on the way that the game's handled and its direction moving forward. If you didn't know, Psyonix joined the Epic Games family mid-2019. The news article posted by the team assured the community that the move would only have positive benefits for both the game itself and the esports community. It's a pretty concise article considering the subject, basically just going over what this means for the game in the future. The following year, Rocket League announced that the game would be going free to play that summer. The game had been free before, both on the PlayStation Store and as part of free weekends, but now the game would be free to own anywhere, forever. This obviously had various benefits, as it removed the financial barrier to playing the game. The event caused a surge in the player base, and you can even see this jump in both Google Trends and on the Steam stat page. However, our first red flag unfortunately involves Steam. As the game went free to play, it also delisted from the Steam store, meaning that you could no longer get Rocket League on one of the largest online game platforms, and would have to instead get it on the Epic Games store. This meant that if you didn't buy the game on Steam originally, there was no way to get it on Steam in the free to play age. It's fairly obvious that this was a marketing strategy on Epic Games' part. Forcing the game onto another platform means that players would have to use Epic's own platform instead of their main competitor. While advantageous for Epic, for Rocket League this deprives the game of an important platform in the PC gaming space, one that it had been on for its entire existence. The removal of the game from Steam also made it significantly harder to determine how well the game was performing on certain platforms, as Steam is one of the only platforms to actually share its player data publicly. A year after the free-to-play move in August of 2021, as part of the Season 4 update, Epic Games dropped the player count display from the main menu of the game. This display would tell you exactly how many people were playing Rocket League, and more specifically would tell you how many were playing each individual mode. Instead, the counter was replaced with a fairly vague good, great, and amazing counter. There could be a variety of reasons to remove this information from public view, but the optics for it at the time were not good. From the outside, players took this change as the intentional hiding of information, to keep the player base in the dark on the game's health. Others pointed out the more practical reason, that having the numbers available would keep players from queuing low population modes, which would compound the low population issue further. Either way, there was never a clear statement by Epic Games on why this change was made, which certainly didn't help its case. I'm not going to go through every little event in Rocket League's history, but the general complaint levied at Epic Games' Rocket League is that nothing particularly new was introduced to the game, and in some cases legacy features were being lost. The most serious case coming into effect at the end of this year. Player trading was a major game system introduced in 2016, which allowed players to trade items with each other. Entire channels built their legacy off the back of this feature. The system had gone under several revisions even before Epic Games' acquisition, but this year it was announced that player trading would be going away entirely. To remove an entire ecosystem of community interaction is certainly a bold choice, and even now the game's reputation is on the rocks. Obviously, removing trading severely limits players' options for getting new items, instead putting all the cards in Epic's hands. It also lands a serious blow to creators who utilize these features for the sake of content, which includes some of the largest creators in the space. The loss of trading also eliminates all the different communities that foster trading between players. However, trading being gone also decimates player scamming in the game. With no way to give your items to someone, there's no way you can lose them. This also means that the game no longer has a black or grey market containing stolen player items. Despite the good or bad points, this whole ordeal really ignited the concern that the game was on a downtrend, and the IP was more of an exploitable resource for Epic Games rather than its own ecosystem. Which brings us back to the question of this video. Is Rocket League going to die? In terms of Rocket League servers shutting down dead, it's extremely unlikely. Simply due to the nature of the game, there's not really any competition for Rocket League. So even if they really screw things up, the game can still carry itself pretty easily. Despite what some may think of how the game has been handled, there are still at least 300,000 players on at any one time, usually more, a number some games can only dream of. But when people talk about a game dying, they're not really talking about a hard death per se. What they usually refer to is a soft death or a community death, usually from a game losing popular interest and creators migrating away from the game. If we were to infer an actual risk to the game right now, this would be it. One frequent complaint from established Rocket League creators is that the game doesn't have enough fresh content for them to work with, and every time something gets removed or nothing really new gets added, it puts more pressure on these creators to find something else instead. A lack of new, engaging content also poses a risk of failing to retain players across new seasons. If every season is the same as the last, there's only oh so many hours you can enjoy that. Whether the game dies is ultimately up to the people in charge of it. But where do you think the game will be in a few years from now? Let me know in the comments.